Dogma, 1999 film by Kevin Smith. This time around, Smith tackles religion and faith in his signature, slightly comedic, slightly serious style. So the story is that two angels that were banished from the heavens, Loki, played by Matt Damon, and Bartleby, played by Ben Affleck, managed to find a loophole in the dogmatic law that will allow them to enter heaven again. In order to do that, they need to reach a certain church in New Jersey and walk under the archway to have their sins washed away. However, as it turns out, that act would prove God wrong, and the whole of reality is based on the fact that God cannot be wrong. So that means that the two angels going back into heaven would destroy all of creation. In order to stop that from happening, Heaven sent Metatron, played by Alan Rickman, who gives the mission of stopping the angels to an unsuspecting abortion clinic worker, Bethany, played by Linda Fiorentino. And with the help of several other characters, including recurring characters Jay and Silent Bob, as well as Chris Rock playing a 13th Apostle of Jesus, she begins the journey to the church as well. So the movie is this typical Smith dramedy, which examines a particular subject kind of seriously, but also kind of laughing at it. And this time the topic is faith and organized religion as a whole. Now, this type of parody is normally right up my alley, but I finished the movie rather underwhelmed. Mainly because I thought that the film opens up a lot of topics and a lot of different angles from which it tries to discuss religion and faith. But it doesn't go too deep on either of those angles, and I mean that in both the serious exploration and in the comedy approach. It feels like most of those arguments are just thrown out there but not fully realized. And the same case goes for the characters. There's a lot of the characters in the film. Bethany, the Angels, Metatron, Jalen Silent Bob, Chris Rock. There's a demon played by Jason Lee. There's a muse played by Salma Hayek. And also a bishop played by the late George Carlin. And it seems like Smith wanted each of those characters to have something to say, something to add to the story. But the result is that because there's so many of them, not one is fully fleshed out. And also, maybe this is me being overly critical at this point, but ultimately, the way all the characters and subplots are brought together towards the end feels very American in a not very good way, like any other typical adventure comedy from Hollywood of the 1990s. It's not very distinct and original in the way that the story goes, but also in the way that it's shot and presented. And for me, that whole package is simply not enough. Especially after reading so much of Terry Pratchett's works recently, who also has a thing for exploring and laughing at religion and religious topics, both in the Discord series and in Good Omens. I mean, he just does it in a way that feels at the same time more thought out and clever, but also subtly funny. And in comparison, Dogma falls short on all fronts. It's not a bad movie by any means, but I'd say it's very decent. But for me, I expected more from it.